g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. Well, g'day curd nerds. Oh, there we are. G'day curd nerds, welcome to another Ask the Cheeseman. This is where you can ask all your cheese making questions. Just checking if I'm in focus. Yeah, I am. Good. Lovely. And hopefully you can hear me. Hang on, the mic's running a bit hot for some reason. Let me take it down a little bit. There we go. Beautiful. Hope everything's okay with you and yours under these trying circumstances. And let's get on with the show, shall we? This is Ask the Cheeseman 143. That's a lot of Ask the Cheesemans. Yeah, we've kind of brought the show to a nice kind of resting place during the COVID-19 quarantine, lockdown, what have you. Sunday morning seems to work for both Kim and I. Less stressed because I don't have to worry about other work and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, it all seems to be quite good. So, new YouTube members this week. Big shout out to Kelly Gluyas. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry, Kelly, if I've mucked that up. But thank you for your financial support. And John Crawford. Thank you, John, for your financial support. Lovely to have you helping us out here on the channel. And patrons, Sean Boatmore. Thank you, Sean, for your patronage over on Patreon. Now, videos this week, I've got a treat for you all. I've managed to edit a video ahead of time. The members and patrons would have seen it already. I've got a Gouda video, which is a sponsored video by Lauda, which is a mould making company in the Netherlands. And I made a Gouda with one of their moulds. It's turned out really, really good. I'm very impressed. That is going to go live straight after the show. In fact, in the last few minutes of the show, I'm actually going to show you the process of me making a video go live. So I'm going to go live and I'm going to send you the link and you can all go and watch it after the show, unless it's time for bed for the Europeans. So that may be a bit of a problem, or the Africans. And then today, because we're only going to have a show for an hour today, got to cut it a little bit shorter because I'm making a marinated feta. So that'll be the video in production today. And Kim's bought a cheese platter from Ashgrove Cheese, and it's a Tasmanian cheese making company. They haven't sponsored the video or anything. I'm just going to try their cheeses. So she bought me a box of cheese to do a cheese platter with. So that should be good fun as well. So that's what's going on in the video world. Kim has 2 more chemos to go, which is great. And then she's on to a targeted therapy, which is not as bad on her body. But yeah, all things are going well as they can be with Kim's treatment for her cancer. So there's a little bit of an update there. And she can tell a little bit more in the chat if she wants to. I'll let her do that. Let's say g'day to all the curd nerds, or as many as we can on the chat, shall we? So g'day to Jordan, Jonas, Nicola, Dinosaur Wallet, nice one, Hannah, Tamer, Ruth, Manul, Ambrose, who else we got? John from San Francisco, Farmers of Pakistan. I've got all the farmers from Pakistan there. That's fantastic. Rescue the cuckoo. No, cockatoo. Oh my goodness me. Michael, Paul, Michelle, Andrew, Alex, Kim. Lovely to have you here moderating, Kim. Thank you very much. Naomi, George, Michael, something in Arabic that I can't read. Sorry about that. Christian, Billy, Dwayne, Bruce, Karen, Larry from Deep South Texas. Rest 11, Chrissy, SRH, Elijah, Monique, Andrew, Guillermo, Radwin, my goodness, Chrissy again, different Chrissy, I think. That'll do, I think. I think I got everybody, but there's Ben, somebody called Ben there somewhere. Did I miss it? Where is it? No. Another Heather, I think. Merck. That'll do. Anyway, so thank you all for coming on the stream. We've got 69 people, the little counter tells me, on the stream, which is absolutely fantastic for a Sunday morning, Saturday night, I suppose. Now, I've got a bit of a segment that seems to be growing on the channel, which is a feature the cheesemaker type thing. So people have been sending me photos of their cheese, and I'm going to show you what they look like. So how's that sound? Let's do that, shall we? Over to, let me just get the picture up and then we'll do it. Ooh, here we go. Is this going to work? Right, let's see if it works. Let's see if it works. All right, there we go. So there's the first cheese. There's some Caciocavallo, and that's sent in by Heather Pugh. So Heather actually made 4 Caciocavallos, but she only showed me photos of 3 hanging in her kitchen. They look absolutely fantastic, beautiful looking cheeses, and she used my Caciocavallo recipe, which, Kim, if you can do the honours, if you can put the link to Caciocavallo up on the chat, that would be great. So the next picture is from Ruth Cohen, who's in the chat today, and I think she was talking about it last week. Let's just go and have a look at this one. So this is Ruth's Cheddar Romano, or Cheddar Mano, I think she called it. So it's a combination of 2 cheeses. It's a combination of a Romano cheese, which is the white bits, and a combination of cheddar, which is the yellow bits she's added donato to. Looks lovely. I think she got the idea from a podcast episode on the Little Green Cheese podcast YouTube channel. A chef told us that he'd made it and it tasted absolutely amazing, and she copied the idea, which is perfectly fine in the cheese making world. Okay, we've got another one from Ruth. Let me just get that up. And this looks pretty cool as well. Let's make it a bit bigger before we cut over. Right, there we go. So this is a dry Jack, or Monterey Jack, and it's been rubbed with cocoa, coffee, and pepper. So, and she reckons that tastes fantastic as well. So well done to you, Ruth, and Heather, for sending in those photos. If you've got any cheeses you want featured during Ask the Cheeseman, then just shoot me an email. You can use the About tab of the channel. It's got my email address, and you can send me some cheese making pictures. And yeah, absolutely fantastic. Let's do that. So let me just, I do have a little video, I don't know, I'll show it near the end. It's from Jason about cutting open his Jarlsberg. I think it might work, but we'll see how that goes, shall we? If we get time. Now, let's get to the questions. Excuse me. First question is, at 5:34 a.m. this morning, just some context, it's 8:09 where I am. I'm glad he didn't set the curtain light off. But Jordan said, hope to be on later, but just in case, if a recipe doesn't specifically call for calcium chloride and I'm using store-bought milk, should I still add it? Yes, indeed. If the milk is pasteurised, if it's had any heat treatment at all, then add in calcium chloride, because the calcium gets destroyed during the pasteurisation process. Well, some of the calcium anyway. That's why we like to add a little bit more back using that liquid salt calcium chloride. So yeah, that'll help you get a firmer curd, Jordan. Okay, next question. Probably a statement. Ruth says, making cheese keeps me calm and happy. keeps me calm and happy too, Ruth, and grounded, I suppose. Ambrose says, hello, Gavin and Kim. I made the cultured butter and it turned half into garlic. Oh, hang on. And then turned half of it into garlic butter. It's really good. Yes, it is indeed. The quark, on the other hand, didn't work. It ran straight through the cheesecloth. Oh, that's no good. And it smelt so bad I had to put it in the bin. Sorry about that. That's one cheese I haven't made. I know it's just another form. It's a thicker kind of yogurt, so I will put that on the list anyway, and we'll see how we go. But yeah, a quark sounds pretty good, Ambrose, but I think a lot of Germanic people like it. Hannah has a question. Says, hey Gav, I hope all is well. I was wondering if you ship to the United States. I was interested in getting your cheese press and a few other things. I wasn't sure if you were with the coronavirus. Well, personally, I don't have it. Well, neither does anybody. We've been in isolation for, nearly 2 months. This is 2 months already, my goodness. Start of March it was. And we actually had to cease international shipping at Little Green Workshops, which is just there. Does that work? There we go. So that's our shop. Kim and I run this shop, Little Green Workshops. Cheese making section, as you can probably see here. I don't know if you can read it, but it says, due to COVID-19 interruptions, we have had to suspend our international shipping service for this category. We apologise for any inconvenience caused to our international customers. Reason being is because Australia Post, our main international carrier here in Australia, decided to stop picking up from people's houses. Doesn't stop them from delivering. They're, of course, a delivering post, but they're not picking up. So, yeah, that's a bit of an issue for us because we can't service our global cheese-making community. But as soon as that's done, I'm going to send out a newsletter from the Little Green Cheese email list that I run. So you can go over to littlegreencheese.com and sign up for the newsletter, and I'll shoot out a newsletter saying we're starting international shipping again. Or you can go to the Little Green Workshops newsletter. There's 2 newsletters that I run. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, Hannah. As soon as that's up and running, I'll also announce it on a live stream as well, because I know a lot of you like to buy stuff from our shop. It seems to get there faster than what it does domestically. A good joke from John early in the morning. Early birds get the cheese, the late ones get the kazoo marzoo. It's so true. For those who don't know, kazoo marzoo is a maggot-infested cheese from, is it Sicily or Sardinia? I'll go with Sicily. Yeah, it's cheese left out at room temperature and flies blow maggots in it, and it's disgusting. Anyway, apparently they think it tastes nice. Anyway, let's go from there. Where else? We got somebody from South Africa, so that's pretty late. Probably this morning, our time, Sunday there. Ior says, I got some mould and some cultures from Little Green Cheese before, or Little Green Workshops. Interchangeable, different websites, but that's cool. Yes, you have. Thank you very much, and hopefully they all worked out well. Farmers of Pakistan says, I need an answer. What can we use as an alternate to rennet? Can we use tartaric acid? Can we get the same quality of cheese? No, definitely not. There is no alternative to rennet. There are different types of rennet though. So if for religious reasons that you don't want to use animal products, then there are vegetarian rennets, and on our website we exclusively sell rennet that is vegetarian or microbial. So they are both good alternatives of using animal rennet. And yeah, they're readily available by the post. So yeah, you can try and source some online. Yeah, you will never get the same quality cheese if you try to use an acid where a rennet is called for in a recipe, or tartaric acid or lemon juice or even vinegar. You will not get the same cheese. It does not develop the same flavour. In fact, it'll be terrible. Okay. Ruth says, hope you are all staying safe and well. Yeah, I hope everybody is too. Oh, and one thing that I forgot to say, it's Mother's Day here in Australia. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there doing it tough during the COVID-19, or the not doing it tough or doing it easy, whatever. But happy Mother's Day to everybody, and a big hello to my own mother, Eleanor. Happy Mother's Day, Mum. Let's have a look. Oh, Ruth. Oh, I've got the super chat thing working properly too this time, so we can actually read it. Thank you, Ruth, for your kind $20 super chat. You've got a question. Let me just turn the flash and light off before somebody has a problem. There we go. I got a 20-litre pot. Oh, fantastic. I made a double batch of your Morbier. Could not keep the ash close enough to the middle to have it having a clean black stripe. That's no good. It is so big, I'm calling it Moby Dick. Oh, very cool. I hope it all works out for you, Ruth. The 20-litre pot, absolutely fantastic. I'm going to have to get something a little bit bigger. And personally, if I want to use a mould that you'll see in the video at the end of the show, yeah, that's a bit of a good one. But yeah, well done. I'm going to have to get one a little bit bigger, but well done. Congratulations on your Morbier. Once it starts to go a little bit orange, shoot me through a photo. I'd love to see it, and I'd love to showcase it as well, Ruth. Thank you so much for your kind super chat. Okay, back to the questions. Naomi says, this has been the best endings of Saturdays during the lockdown. Yeah, I think that's kind of why we've changed a little bit. What do we got? We've got 85 people watching at the moment. That's absolutely fantastic. And it's been getting up there towards 100 people watching the stream on the weekends. I think the weekends are a little bit better for this sort of thing. Well, people don't work as much. Well, more people are working from home so they can see it anyway. But yeah, weekends are better, I think. Anyway, Ior has a hint. Don't ever put your follower in the dishwasher, which is for the cheese mould. No, it warps. Always wash your moulds by hand. I always tend to. However, let me think. The follower that I have for the 165mm basket that everybody's familiar with in my cheese videos, we run our dishwasher at about 45 Celsius. We don't have it too high the temperature. And it doesn't seem to affect it. That seems to be okay. But if you're going to put it on a really hot wash, then yeah, I highly recommend don't put your follower in the dishwasher. Hannah Jackson says, are there any cheeses you don't like and will never make? Don't like. Well, I'll never make casu marzu, which is the maggot cheese. And I don't think I'd ever bring myself to actually eat it. So you could say that's one that I don't like and will never eat. So there you go. There's one cheese in the whole world. Coffee, so good this time of the morning. George says, that means will the mould in Stilton protect you from the coronavirus? Slim chance, I think, but it'll taste good and you'll feel good by eating it. How's that sound? Michael says, Gavin, can you send all your missed curds my way? I think that means curds that haven't quite formed the cheese that they were after. So, no, sorry, mate. Don't ship curds anywhere. Hello, Gavin. Is that me? Gavin, maybe? I have a cow and I am extracted from her milk the butter. Can I work a certain kind of cheese with milk having no fat? Okay, so sounds like a Google Translate, but I'll do my best. Sounds like you've taken the cream and you've made butter out of the milk, which is fantastic. Can you make a certain kind of cheese with the skimmed milk? Yeah, if you haven't taken all of the fat out of the milk, then you could try your hand at Parmesan style cheese, And Kim, if you can put the link up to Parmesan, that'll be absolutely fantastic. That's a great way to make a cheese. Also, you could try Icelandic skyr, S-K-Y-R, is how you pronounce it. And there's a video on how I made skyr as well. That's with skim milk as well. A very light, cheesy / yogurt type thing. So you could try that. But thanks for your question. George says, why does cheese give you nightmares? Doesn't give me nightmares. Makes me happy. So I don't know. Maybe there's a chemical in it that triggers it in some people. Christian says, hi G. It's very familiar, but yeah. Made cheddar last week. During the 40-minute gradual heating of the curds, we overshot the target temperature by about 10 degrees Fahrenheit. How big of a deal is that? All right, so 10 degrees Fahrenheit is, I said, about 6 degrees Celsius. Yeah, touch and go. Really, the mesophilic starter culture shouldn't be heated up over 38 degrees Celsius, which is 102 Fahrenheit. Really shouldn't go over that temperature because you'll start killing off the mesophilic culture, because during the cheddaring process, which is after the milk's been heated, that's when the mesophilic starter culture starts to eat a lot of the lactose and makes the cheddar the flavour it is. That's why we do cheddaring. It also helps expel a fair bit of the whey. Now, if you've gone up over the target temperature, then a lot more whey has been expelled during the stirring process, and it won't be expelled during the cheddaring process. So if you've done that, the lactic bacteria won't have enough lactose to convert into lactic acid, if that makes sense. So yeah, you've expelled too much whey, which is the food. Had a lot of lactoses in the whey. So yeah, if you pressed it and try it, in 3 months' time, see what it turns out like. If it's okay, forget everything I said. It'll be fine. If it's not okay, you'll know the reason why. Okay, Billy says, good morning, Gavin and Kim. Hope you're both well as can be, Billy. Dwayne says, g'day. G'day, mate. Same question again. Bruce says he made it with a minute to spare. That's cool. Karen says, good morning, prayers to both of your continued health and happiness. Thanks so much, Karen. I appreciate it. Larry's been harvesting onions by the sounds of it. I'll have to go and check his channel out. Larry has a YouTube channel called Deep South Texas, which is all about, homesteading in his in his backyard, where he grows lots of food, which is pretty cool. So if you're into that kind of thing, which I am, you go and check out Larry's channel, Deep South Texas. Chrissy says, is it possible to make vegan blue cheese, say like with nuts or something? Indeed it is. It is. There are many vegan blue cheese recipes on the interwebs. You can go and check them out. I don't personally have any, but yeah, there are. Let's just kill the curd, Nerd Light. That's from Andrew. Andrew says, I'm using IMCU 240 rennet. Do I use the same amount, or should I be using a little less? It's about the same, so it'll be fine. Just use the same proportions the same quantities that I have in my recipes, Andrew. So yeah, you should be fine, mate. But thank you for your $5 super chat. I appreciate it. Alrighty. Where did I get up to? SRH says, just made that butter recipe you had. It only took 30 minutes and it's mega delicious. My own spice mix since I am the States. Fantastic. Yes, that butter was so simple. Made a bit of a mess because I overfilled the cream in the bowl. Yeah, I like to show all my mistakes because it stops you from, it helps you to learn from my mistakes and stops you from making them yourself, of course. So congratulations on your spicy butter mix. Elijah says, I love your cheese videos. Thanks, mate. I love making them. Monique says, hi, Gav. Watching this Cheeseman episode on my phone and cheese slices with Will Studd on SBS Food Channel on the TV at the same time. Multitasking. Hope you guys are well. Yeah, for those who don't know, Will Studd's a bit of a character here in Australia. Oh, he's probably internationally as well. But he has this TV show called Cheese Slices, and he goes to all the regions of the world where they make cheese and showcases different types of cheese. I think he's up to season 8 or something, maybe 9. But yeah, really good to watch. He's a really nice guy. Seems to know, he does know what he's on about. And yeah, he can be the TV cheese man and I'll be the YouTube cheese man. How's that sound? Andrew says, officially good morning to all. I think Andrew's in South Africa, I think. Yeah, South Africa. Yes, it is officially good morning. Guillermo says, hi Gavin, I can't seem to stir my curds without breaking them into pieces much smaller than intended. What's the secret? We've got another something going on here. Let me just turn the curd nerd light off. Don't know where that... Oh, there we go. That was a bit slow to happen. We should get a little thingy coming up in... Oh, there's another one. It's one from Paul. Paul says... Oh, what's going on? It's all happening. Hang on, let me get that. I had a trigger. 2 super chats. One for $2. I don't know why that one didn't come up. This one says, from Jordan says, lucky I can see that in the software that I'm using. Can you make butter from raw goat's milk? Oh, there we go. It's up on the screen now. Yeah, you have to. It's very hard to get the cream out of the goat's milk because it doesn't naturally float to the top, Jordan. So you have to use a mechanical separator to get the cream out. Very difficult to do, but yeah, you can. Paul has sent a $5 super chat. Thank you, Paul. Have you tried your pH meter yet? No, I haven't. I was going to today just to test it with the feta. I was just going to, in my recipe, I was just going to mark what the pHs were. Don't need it because it's a tried and true recipe, but I will try it out. Your comment is, I bought a spear type and it has upped my game tremendously. No more guesswork. Hope you give pH levels in future recipes. Indeed. I'm going to try the one that... I haven't got it with me. I'm going to try the one that I think it was John sent me. Yeah, I'm going to try that. I might up my game and get a... I think it's from Hannah is the company. And get a proper cheese making one. It's about $150 Australian. So that's not too expensive as far as I'm concerned. But thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Let's see. How can I get rid of that? What's going on? Right, there we go. Fantastic. Cool. Let me think. Where am I at? Right. Sorry. All right. So, Guillermo, your question. It doesn't sound like you're getting a very good curd set, because if they break into smaller pieces, what's the secret to stirring without breaking them? Talking about the curds, that is. I think one of the secrets that I learnt about a year into my cheese making journey was that after you've cut the curds, make sure that you allow them to heal for 5 minutes. I find that prevents a lot of breaking up of the curds while you're stirring them. Inevitably, when you stir them, they do break up a little bit, but if they start going all mushy and terrible, and then that curd set is not very good at all. So let them heal. That's the first thing. The second thing is stir a little bit slower, be gentler, and you'll find that probably helps as well. Or try different milk, get a better curd set. Either add a little bit more rennet, just 10% more, depending on the rennet you're using. So I hope that helps. Radwan says yellow. Don't know what in context that is too, but yeah. Chrissy says, good morning, Gavin and Kim from Hobart, Tasmania. Not so far away from us. I made your Havarti yesterday. I think I melted the curds when I added the hot water. The curd was one big lump of whey. It pressed okay. Yeah, that's happened to me before. Now, I think in the video, you may have seen me put my hands into the curd, because that happened to me as well. Because the hot water is pretty hot, and the Havarti is quite soft. Oops, headrest is wrong way. There we go. Is quite hot, so it does tend to mat together. So what I did was I put my hands in there and broke up the curds while it was in the hot water, and that kind of helped it along. But if that happens again, then try that. Your hands, make sure you wash them and up to your arms or wherever, and plonk them in there. I've seen worse things happen in cheese making factories. Don't you worry about that. But I hope that helps. Karen says, how long is whey good for when used in cooking or bread making? Bread making dried in the refrigerator versus the freezer. Karen, right, so with whey, if you want to make, say, ricotta or something like that, then it's best to use the whey within 3 hours, because it over-acidifies. It gets quite acidic, because remember, it's still got lactobacteria in there, there's still lactose in it, and it's still eating away at the whey. So, but you can leave it in the fridge cold for up to 7 days. That's what I've done, and that works all right. And I've used it in a stew, and yeah, it's turned out really well. But you can freeze it straight away to if you want to have it a little bit sweeter. So if you've made your cheese, put it into bottles, put it in the freezer, you'll find it'll be a little bit sweeter, less acidic. If that's what you need it for, say, bread or something like that, you could do it. So I hope that helps, Karen. Radwan says, you look good. Thanks. The farmers of Pakistan keep asking the same questions. Says, please tell the best alternative for rennet and also give the quantity per gallon to use as a substitute. As I said, you cannot, because rennet is not available in Pakistan. Can I use tartaric? Do whatever you like. There you go. You can keep asking the same question, doesn't mean you're going to get a different answer, unfortunately. I'm not trying to sound nasty or anything. It's just a fact. That is science. George says, hi Gavin, I love your channel. Thank you, George. Appreciate it. Andrew says, hi Gavin. Hi Andrew. This is at 8:01, so this is all 8 o'clock. What time is it now? 8:30. Sorry about that. Manel says, in podcast number 65, why do all my cheeses taste the same? You mean when I use mesophilic culture to make any cheese, is it giving me the same taste? Is it meant only the texture difference? Yeah, so this was if I remember rightly, it was a while ago since I recorded it. It was a question from a guy that was living in Hong Kong, but he was Spanish. What was his name? Oh, I can see his face. No, sorry, I've lost the name. But yeah, he was using the same starter culture for all his cheeses, so hence the same kind of flavour. Yeah, if you want to make different flavoured cheeses, or use the right starter culture for the right type of cheese, or the right process. Got to remember that if you use a starter culture like a mesophilic for, say, making a farmhouse cheddar, and then use this, which has a totally different process than, say, if you made an Edam or a Gouda or a Havarti using the same starter culture, because the process is totally different and you actually wash the curds with those European cheeses, you'll get a different flavour. However, if you make the same cheese, same style of cheese with the same mesophilic starter culture, you're going to get the same flavour. That was the point that I was trying to put across, if that helps. Anyway, Radwan says, I just want to tell you that I've used a lot of your useful information and experience. Thank you, Radwan. Ben says, hello, I'm trying to make a Belpanol, but I ended up with sour cream. I used C20G culture. I think the only thing I did wrong was break the curd before the whey was drained. I'm yet to make that recipe. I've got it somewhere in a book. I printed it out from cheesemaking.com. I think Jim Wallace had a recipe. It is like it's like a cream cheese that you make first, and then you roll it in cracked pepper and a few other spices, some rosemary and thyme and a few other bits, and you let it harden, and it goes quite hard, and it's like a grating cheese. But I haven't tried it myself. If that was the culture that they recommended in the recipe, then I don't know, and I don't know because I haven't made that cheese before. Sorry, Ben. Sean says, hey Gav, best to you and Kim. I have a great smoked salt. Can that be used to make a smoke flavour cheese? Can't see why not. As long as it doesn't have any iodine in it, you can use that to mill in your curds. Don't exceed the amount, so it's about between 2 and 2.7% of the weight of the curds for most cheeses if you're going to mill salt into a cheese. But it'll be fine. Yeah, try smoke flavour. See, it gives a little certain je ne sais quoi, I suppose. Michelle says, sorry Michelle, I'm wondering about the culture you use when you make your fontina. Have you ever tried to make comté? Thank you so much for all your cheese help. I'd have to go back and look at the video. I can't remember. I think the culture that I use, fontina, is that a thermophilic starter culture? I'm not sure. You might have to shoot me an email, Michelle, and I'll reply back to that. I haven't made comté yet, but I will get to it. I'll put it on the list, shall I? But it's quite a unique cheese to France. It may be difficult to make. Anyway, I'll give it a go. Naomi says, yay, a new video straight after. Good to watch Saturday morning here since it's 3 minutes past midnight in the Netherlands. Nice. Andrew says, can you make Gouda with goat's milk? Yes, indeed. In fact, I've actually tasted a Gouda made with goat's milk that was aged for a year, and it was beautiful, delightful cheese. Even had calcium lactate crystals in it. Oh, it was just beautiful. Mario says, is there a difference between rennet for hard cheese and soft cheeses? No, it's all the same. It's just the amount that you actually put into the milk. With soft cheeses, you tend to use a minuscule amount of rennet. It's the lactic bacteria that gives you a better curd set. The rennet's just there to help it in most soft cheeses, just a tiny bit. We're talking a few drops, but anyway, give it a go. George says, get well soon, Kim. I think that's when I announced that Kim's got 2 more to go. Oh, Ruth says, yay, Kim, 2 more to go. Yep, indeed. Kim says she bought the cheese platter box for herself to eat. Oh, not going to share it then, love. Well, we'll see about that. But seeing it's Mother's Day, I'll let you. How about I video you eating it? Maybe not. Yervant says, hi Gavin, I am a big fan. Thanks, Yervant. Clay says, hello Clay. My goodness, I've just gone to the bottom of 1,000 chats. Where did I get up to? Let's just do questions only. There's so many. I'm not going to get through them in an hour if I don't do questions. But hello to everybody on the stream. Thank you so much. I'll keep going. Tofty says, are there any cheeses you've made and don't like and wouldn't make again? Can't say I have. Look, there are some that are difficult to make, if that makes any sense. And I won't be making them again in a hurry, but, because I want to make as many cheeses as possible in my lifetime. It's one of my goals, I suppose. it's a shame to go back to the same cheese, but, you know, enjoy it while it is, while I've got the cheese, and move on. Karen says, what cheese would you recommend with fresh horseradish? Found some in the grocery store. Karen, I would try the stir-curd cheddar recipe that, you know, you've seen many times. Also, make sure that you use let me think, for the stir-curd cheddars lately that I've been using MA4000 series of cultures by Danisco Choose It. It's a brand name, I think. I'd say it works a lot better than just a basic mesophilic, because it's got a thermophilic in there as well. The flavour development is much better, and with the horseradish milled into the curds as well, you're going to get a big kick of flavour there. Okay. Next question. So many people. Sorry about that. Yep. Question. Righto, Ben says, hi from the UK. You probably asked this a lot, but why does halloumi always do that split down the middle when you slice it? That's because when it's made, it's folded over and there's mint in the middle. That's why it's got a split down the middle. So it's a slab of curd, it's folded over with mint in the middle, and as it cools down, it stays solid and you've got a split in the middle. There you go. Next question. John says, I've eaten all kinds of cheese with horseradish for nearly 30 plus years. Fantastic. Thanks, mate. People are saying, Ruth, great cheese. Nice. Abe says, finally, chat is working for me. Didn't last time. Discovered your channel. And until then, I never thought I'd wish to make cheese, but I'm hooked now. Have you ever made kefir cheese? Yeah, look, I don't have any kefir grains, and there is a powdered kefir culture, which is the same bacteria, but I never got around to making it, and it went out of date, so I haven't done that. Esmo Bunny says, oh, pardon me, I didn't mean to burp then. Pardon me. Can you age cheese in Zea pots? I don't know what a Zea pot is, so let's do a quick googly. A Zea pot is a double-lined pot that keeps cold. 2 terapots nested in each other. Yeah, if it keeps cool, yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I wouldn't make them in the pot because it's got sand in it. But depends on the temperature of the cheese, I suppose. But yeah, I couldn't see why not. Because they were making cheese in clay pots for millennia before, you know, we went to stainless steel and all that sort of stuff. Ior said, I should have taken pictures of the 3 kefilis that failed. Mate, I hope better luck next time. Pedro says, what gives the Edam cheese its sharp taste? Edam's not that sharp. It's more of a milder cheese. The flavour is given to the cheese because the curd is washed with water, non-chlorinated water, during the cheese making process. So it's not as sharp as some. Try a 1-year-old cheddar, then you'll find sharp. But yeah. Bruce says, don't forget the thumbs up if you haven't. Yeah, if you haven't already, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Esmo Bunny says, what's your opinion about aging cheeses in arid climates? Keep it as cool as you possibly can. 13 degrees is the target when you're trying to age a cheese. Get a cheese fridge if you haven't already got one, and get an external thermostat. There's a video somewhere. If Kim, can you put the link up to the video for the cheese fridge that I show with the external thermostat? And that should be able to help you out. That's what we do. You can age cheese in any climate. Jawad says, hey Gavin, can cottage cheese be made purely with milk and acid? I was discussing this with somebody online and he said that's all he used. Yeah, you can. It's not... Cottage cheese is a word that... it's a type of cheese that can be many things. It's made in a cottage. It doesn't specifically look like anything. If you have a look at some of the cottage cheeses you can buy in supermarkets and stuff like that, then yeah, I think they use a bit of rennet to do that. But look, any sort of cheese that you make, acid set, you could call it cottage cheese. Give it a go. Sadie, which I know I'm pronouncing incorrect, says, thanks a lot for the Morbier. We'll be making it tomorrow. Can you do a Tete de Moines cheese? It's a joy to eat, I would think. Tete de Moines, let's have a look. We're getting a bit fancy now. I'll have to find a recipe is the problem. If I haven't got one in any of my multiple books behind me, that way, over there and down there, then we're not making it. I'm a bit of a recipe guy. So I like to get the cheese as close to the original as possible. I know it's almost impossible, but I try. Ruth says, one of my batches of buttermilk blue never set a curd. I think I get store-bought buttermilk that was UTH, ultra high temperature. Not sure, but it turned out into amazing buttermilk blue cream cheese. Everybody loves it. Fantastic. You can always recover from a cheese making failure. It's not your failure, Ruth, but the failure of the milk. I think the store-bought buttermilk that I use was probably ultra pasteurised as well, because the curd set was dismal. Even though I used that made by cow milk, the cold pressed milk, which set such a firm curd you could trampoline on top of it. That's how firm the curd is. But yeah, it didn't help in that instance. Hacker says, is it all right to drink some of the raw milk that remains? Remains from where, I don't know, but you can drink raw milk. I was brought up on it. As long as it's within 3 days of, and it's been refrigerated straight after it's come out of the cow, it's safe as houses. It's only bad when people don't respect it, I suppose. Leave it on the side and all the lactic bacteria and extra bacteria go in there and make it sick for you. But yeah, eat it fresh, drink it fresh, perfect. Yervant says, homogenised milk is okay to make cheese if we cannot find any other kind. I'm residing in Toronto, Canada. Yeah, indeed. The first few cheeses, in fact, the first probably 2 years of cheese making, I just used pasteurised homogenised milk. Make sure the curd set will be a little bit weaker, so make sure you add calcium chloride and you will have no problems getting a curd set. We've got another super chat going on there. The curd nerd light's going off. It's from Karen. Karen says, thank you. On horseradish and farmhouse cheddar, grate it and add it in the milling stage. Any thoughts on how much to a 10-12 litre batch of milk? During the milling stage, so grate it, add it in. Make sure, obviously, the horseradish is nice and clean first, because it's a root. Don't want any dirt in your milk. So probably peel it first and then grate it. How much? I don't know. I would try probably a couple of teaspoons, because it's pretty strong stuff. 2 to 3 teaspoons. It's a guess. Just taste the horseradish, see how hot it is, and make your own judgment. Make sure you add the right amount of salt though too, because you want to counteract any bad bacteria, and the salt slows down any lactic acid development as well, of course. But yeah, make sure you add the right amount of salt. Thank you for your kind $10 super chat, Karen. Appreciate it. Hope that answers your question though. Next question. Pup says, I bought a hard cheese kit from your website and I've been sharing your business cards. Thank you so much, Pup. I hope you've had successful cheese making. We can start shipping internationally again soon. I don't know if you're international or Australian, but I've sent out quite a few hard cheese kits lately. Tofty says Sardinia. I think that's what you're talking about, the Casu Marzu Yeah. Jess says, I'm about to make my first cheese round. I'm trying to decide what would be a good first cheese to make that is good to add black garlic to. Yeah, okay. Look, I know I say it quite often, but I highly recommend if you're going to add anything to a cheese, make that cheese to start with a farmhouse cheddar. So go and check out my jalapeno cheddar. Oh, Holly's made an appearance in the background there. Go and check out my jalapeno cheddar. Kim, if you could put the link to that, that would be absolutely fantastic. There she is. There's my Holly. Holly, what are you doing? You're a funny dog. Anyway, we're getting close to the end of the show. We've got 10 minutes left. I'm just trying to do questions only, so we'll go from there. Yeah, try stir-curd cheddar. Check out the jalapeno recipe and put in the black garlic instead of the jalapenos. Ben says, when you finish a batch, can you use the whey to start a new batch instead of rennet? Not instead of rennet, but instead of starter cultures. Yes, you can add whey back to a new batch of cheese if you make it the next day. It has to be the next day. Usually it's within 3 hours. But yeah, there are lactic bacteria still present in the whey. You'll still have to add rennet. John says, what is the maximum diameter on height of your cheese press? So the max height, I think it goes up to about 170 millimeters. So that's 17 centimeters. Diameter is 18 centimeters. So it's actually not big enough to fit the mold that I'm just about to show in 8 minutes in the Gouda video that will go up in a minute, which I'm going to change to a premiere, I think. So I'm going to sit here, and during that video there will actually be a chat box as well, so we can continue to chat in the video of the Gouda, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do that. That's going to be cool. I think I can do an instant premiere. We'll see. If not, you'll get the video and you'll see it. But yeah, John, hope that answers your question, mate. Tofty says, as unpasteurised cheeses are not allowed in Australia, what cheeses would you most like to try? It's a correction. There are some cheeses that are unpasteurised now. If you have a look on the back, it usually says made with raw milk. If you have a look at some gorgonzolas, they're made with raw milk. Roquefort definitely is made with raw milk from France. That's not a pasteurised version. But there's only a few. But what cheeses would I like to try unpasteurised? Well, I make them myself. I've tried many cheeses that have raw milk in them, and they do taste amazing. There's just a certain little extra flavour character that raw milk gives your cheese. Okay. I'm getting to 8:21. It's a good start. Laura says, grated my 2-month-old Jarlsberg on a homemade pizza, but it didn't melt. Does that mean my fat content was too low? No, it means that the pH was incorrect in the cheese. But the cheese, Jarlsberg is a pretty good recipe, as in it does melt normally. So if you got good eye formation in your Jarlsberg, I couldn't see why it wouldn't melt. So, but usually it's a pH issue. If the pH is too high, as in closer to 4 than 5, then you'll see that the cheese will be crumbly. If it's too low, then it doesn't melt either. So it's got to be in this sweet spot between 5 and 5.5 pH, the final cheese, that is. That's why I think with Jarlsberg, I think we wash the curd a little bit as well to bring that acid down. Alex says, question about whey ricotta. I mostly only get very small particles which won't stick together. I can still filter them with butter muslin, but it seems like I'm doing something wrong. Added milk already. It depends on the whey that you're using, Alex. If you're using whey from an acid set cheese or a pasta filata cheese, rarely does it give you much ricotta at all. It's got to be whey that's a little bit cloudy and usually made from the softer the semi-hard and hard cheeses like the cheddar types, and if you've got cloudy whey, usually you'll get a little bit of ricotta. You won't get a lot. Yeah, anyway. Next question. Purple Smiley Monster says, coliform infection causes. Usually when the animals eat silage, they're not eating fresh grass, you'll find the coliform bacteria in the milk, and it causes a thing called early blown cheese. And your cheese, just after you press it, or even before you press it, has all these tiny little air holes. It looks like a sponge. That's when you know you've got a coliform infection. And usually it is what it's caused by bacteria entering the cow's gut from dry food. So silage, hay, straw, that sort of thing. That's the cause. If you've pasteurised the milk, there is a good chance that the coliform can be killed during pasteurisation. But if you use it raw, then yeah, definitely you'll get all sorts of weird things going on. Farmers of Pakistan says, microbial is not available in Pakistan. It's too costly to import. And then the cost on production will also be too high. Please suggest any reliable site to buy microbial vegetarian rennet. We don't ship to Pakistan at the moment, so I can't tell you mine. Maybe try some of the ones in the US. They may ship to Pakistan. Try cheesemaking.com. That's a good suggestion. But there are lots. You just have to Google search. There's cheese making stores everywhere. So yeah, try those. Jamie, I think that's how you pronounce it, says, why is rennet quantity advised to be reduced when using raw milk? Thank you. It's because it's got all the calcium in it and it sets a curd a lot easier. The casein in the milk forms the curd mesh a lot easier in raw milk. It hasn't been heat treated, it hasn't been destroyed. So use 10% less rennet when using raw milk. And about 10 to 50% less starter culture as well, is what I've done and had some success. Anyway, we've got 3 minutes to go. I cannot get to the end. Kim's given me the wind up. So thanks everybody for all your questions. I know I didn't get to them all. Can't do much more. There is a quick question here from Nick, says, what's the best cheese to make quesadilla from? I would say Cotia is one of the best. It's an amazing cheese, so try Cotia. No link, Kim's too busy. Anyway, so thank you so much for all your questions. Without it, we wouldn't have a show. And I'm going to, as I said, if you want to buy from our store and you're in Australia at the moment, you can go to littlegreenworkshops.com.au. So you can check that out. If you want to support us, you can go to the join button below, or there is a link to Patreon down below, and there's a lot of financial members. Ruth says, Kim, are you shipping to Snow? Snow? I'm not sure, Ruth. And don't forget you can buy merch like the cup. I've got another cup. Here we go. I'll put it in focus. Old wine, old cheese, and old friends make great company. So that one's new to the merch store on the merch shelf down below. You can go check that out. So thank you so much, and we will see you next time. But let me just bring up the old YouTube dashboard and see if I can figure this out. Hang on, let's go to here we go. Let's bring up the cheese, go to the video section. There's the Gouda. Let's see, can I do an instant premiere? We can. So we're going to do an instant premiere. Woo, I'm excited. And we're just about to publish. And let's go and view that on YouTube. There we go. Premiere will start shortly. All right, I'll sign off from the live stream. Thanks, Curd Nerds, and I'll see you next time.